In this episode 96 of the Encourage Inspire podcast, I'm actually joined by a longtime friend and high school classmate. We go back 25 years. My friend Suejey Colon, she's also a podcaster as well. And this is kind of me returning the favor to her because she invited me to be a guest on her podcast, and I wanted to do the same. She's just not just another storyteller. She's a powerhouse of resilience, authenticity, and pure raw emotion. In the next hour, we're gonna dive deep into her journey that's equal parts heartbreaking and heroic. A narrative that will challenge everything you thought you knew about overcoming life's toughest challenges. Suja has walked through fire and emerged, not just surviving, but truly thriving. Her story is a testament to the incredible strength of human spirit, and I promise you by the end of this episode, you'll be inspired, moved, and ready to see your own struggles in a completely new light. So buckle up, grab your favorite beverage, and get ready for unfiltered, unapologetic conversation that will remind you just how powerful your own story can be. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Encourage and Inspire podcast. It's episode number 96. And I've got a great friend of mine. She's like my sister. We go back 25 years,
Yes. That's
something like that. Oh, God, she go
25 years is crazy.
right. She's also a fellow podcaster as well. And we'll get into that. But it's my sis Sujay. How you doing?
Hey, hey, hey. I'm excited to be here. I'm in a
Yeah.
hyper mood, so you know me, I'm like, let's go.
That's awesome. You had me as a guest on your pod last year.
Yeah,
So now
yeah,
it's
great.
time for me to return the favor.
Yeah.
That's just it.
I mean, you always got something good to say, so I had to have you on.
Awesome. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been podcasting for a few years.
Mm-hmm. Way more
Shout
than me.
out shout out to the Guy What You Need Podcast Network, which is my podcast home, and they give me a platform to talk to some cool people, talk about the music business, and hopefully, and talk about people and talk about disability awareness when we have a chance to discuss that and a lot of different things. But most importantly, get to touch and talk to good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's what I love. I love it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so proud. I'm proud of you and all the work that you do.
Well,
You don't shy away from speaking your truth, and that's why I've always loved you. I don't give a damn what anybody has to say.
right.
If they did, you were always loved, but I always remember you. Like, I actually, everything that you're doing is what I thought you would be doing, really.
Oh, really? Wow, that's so.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. I'm like, yeah, of course Durell has a podcast. Of course Durell works with the music industry. Of course Durell is still outspoken and, like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Look, the entertainment business is the hardest industry to be in.
Yeah.
It's it's so hard to make a living in the industry because music is something, unfortunately, that nowadays can be consumed for free, and we need to change that because I was listening to a guy on the internet. He works with artists as well. His name is Damian Keys. He's
Hmm.
also a consultant and a music educator and things like that. And he talks about music, has never been free. And unfortunately, because of the way the record companies have, unfortunately, the majors have monopolized, unfortunately, how it is now, it hurts the independent DIY artists because it's rigged. Basically, it's rigged. It's rigged for the major labels to win.
Hmm.
And so
I agree with that.
unless you have, you know, millions of dollars in budget to really play in that corporate machine, it's impossible to have that type of impact in people. It's when people are trying to chase, you know, being viral versus actually like building a real audience. And I think that's where I come in and try to tell people like, no, it's like don't worry
Yeah.
about trying to chase virality because most people will never get to that. And then if you do get to that, are you prepared for that? And most people aren't. Most
No.
creatives aren't. So
No.
it's been hard for me because I've had to kind of find my way in the whole independent space because that's uh such a broad thing to say independent music, right? So like how do you kind of find your footing because not everybody's going to get to the top. Not everybody's going to get to the 1%. And if all you're trying to do is serve the 1%, that's going to be pretty hard. So I said, okay, if I'm going to be in independent music, I said, well, how do I create a niche for myself? And for me, that's about being the global person, the person that can help you become global,
Hmm.
places all over the world. Because I think there's a lot of people who obviously talk about music marketing, and that's the thing about, especially because these days it's always about, like I said, building an audience. But
Mm.
and if
Not
I'm a,
a lot.
and if I'm a, and if I tell you this all the time, if I was an artist on social media today, I would be overwhelmed because there's so many people trying to sell you something, sell you their course, sell you why you should do this and why you should work with them, and it's a lot. It's definitely a lot.
I mean, it's also not different even in podcasting. Don't you get these messages like, hey, I can build your brand and I can
Yeah,
do this, and all it will cost you is whatever amount of money, right?
yeah,
And I get messages like that almost every day. I'm
yeah.
independent. Like I started this literally in my friend's living room.
Right,
Um Now it has grown and it's building, and I'm going in the studio and things like that. I'm
right,
working, like I made it a business and a brand, and now I'm working towards a nonprofit within it, and it's so much work. But
right.
you get offers. I mean, I've had so
Yeah,
many independent artists on my show, and I'm just the things that happen. And not only that, you said something interesting about the 1%, and a lot of people want to cater to that 1%.
uh,
But if we were very logical, why aren't we not catering to the 99% that is
right,
more?
right. That just makes me. It
About
just
that.
make
They want to
yeah,
be
and
at the very top.
yeah, and that's why
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
see
yeah.
so many people say are selling courses and selling because majority of the 99% of artists out here don't really know what to do.
No,
You
no.
know what I'm
I mean, there's
saying?
so much talent too, but I mean, talent doesn't get you very far. And I tell people that all the time. Talent really doesn't get you that far because you know how much talent is out there in the
But there's a
world.
ton of it. There's
Everywhere.
a ton
Yeah,
of it. And
part of it, but
there's
it's
also
not the end all be
unfortunately
all.
a lot of bad shit. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad music. I mean, when I'm running
Terrible.
when I'm running
I
my
love
ad.
music, and I'm like
No,
terrible.
seriously,
Yeah.
because you know why? Because they're everybody and their mama unfortunately thinks that they can be an artist. See, back in the days when we was coming up, when we was kids, and before the see, we're fortunate enough to remember a day before the internet.
Oh, of course.
Right. And
Oh,
I always say like we're
love,
kind of we're
love
like
listening to
I
records and
think we're
CDs.
blessed because we know an era back pre digital, early nineties and into the 2000s to the
Early
mid two
2000s, we weren't
right.
so crazy about the internet.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
were graduating high school in the early 2000s.
Uh-huh.
So, and we were forced and we started high school in the late 90s and we graduated in the early 2000s. And like I think that was a great time. I was thinking the other day, like, man, like we
Yes.
actually remember when it was to just go to the mall and chill. Like going to the mall on Saturday was like the fun thing to
Yeah.
do. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I think you're frozen.
Well, I lost you.
Okay, can you hear me?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing this
You
live, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You were frozen for a minute.
Yeah.
Um, no, I think we were fortunate to grow up in a time where like TV was fun, like, and we like TGIF and going and like like
Literally my favorite.
right like the original version of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like the original version. I mean, there's been so many because it's gone on for so long, and but like to like be a kid and a teenager, and when these type of things were happening, like nowadays I feel so fortunate because I was literally just watching this YouTuber. She runs a political show, and man, it did well. Anyway, she was saying that
Something not good.
no,
So good?
she's
So good?
independent.
Okay.
Well, no, what she was talking about wasn't good, but she's an independent, and I try to listen to independent media because the mainstream media is full of shit. They really are.
I
I mean,
think
the
in
mainstream.
general why
Go ahead. Go ahead.
not to cut you off, but I think in general why we like our age group, because we've had both sides of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that is why we are the generation that's kind of closing the gap between the young people and the older people in terms
Yes.
of that. But we have to be mindful, or we are mindful, because we grew up in a time where media wasn't everything, social media wasn't everything, it wasn't the end all be all. I mean, even 3 years ago for me, it wasn't the end all be all, let's be honest. But
Right.
I think we're the age group that is breaking a little bit of the barriers and saying, no, you know what, this isn't as important, this isn't real, this is bullshit. We can call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the younger generation, our kids or our
Yeah.
nieces and nephews and everything like
No.
that,
Yeah.
because this is real to them. I just had a podcast yesterday, and
Yeah.
like, we feed so much into what the media says
Right.
that I mean, we don't
And
fact check nobody. This is
right,
a fact because we
and
heard
that's
it
the problem,
somewhere.
right? And not to. I mean, I don't normally get political on the podcast, but hell,
Yeah.
we can. You know, I mean, this gonna piss some people off, but
I mean, it's your damn show. Do what you
yeah,
want.
but when you think about it, it's like people are gonna hit it, and they're not gonna like this, And I was always conditioned because unfortunately in the black community and probably in the Hispanic community for a long time too, you're conditioned to vote blue. You're just conditioned, at least for me,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
conditioned to
I can
vote,
say that.
and the Democratic Party is, I mean, the stuff that they align with now. Like there was one time where the Democratic Party was like the Democratic Party and the Republican Party wasn't that far off,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like and we all kind of stood firm on certain things, but it's like the stuff that they're okay with is like that's like, are you crazy?
Yeah. So I don't love getting very political in general, period. But I will
Yeah,
say this. I think
and
we
I don't
need
get
to get
political publicly.
unblinded by
I will have the
blue,
conversation.
the red, and we need to really hone in on the candidates itself. I
Yeah,
think also the, how do I put this? And I'm just going to say it flat out, and then I'm going to leave it at that, and not even going to talk about it.
right.
The color of your skin, the your background in terms of, like, if you grew up poor, rich, whatever,
Uh huh.
that really shouldn't matter in deciding who is going to run the country.
Right,
And
and unfortunately, it does way
it
too
does.
much.
It
And
does.
people,
It
and
does.
I'm
That's what
like,
I'm
no,
saying. It
let's
shouldn't
talk.
be like, okay, this person got a little color to them.
Let's talk about
It should really be
policy.
like about the person's qualifications.
Well, yeah,
But
yeah,
we've lost that.
and
Like,
it
I
should
mean, we've
right.
lost that.
It's like let's talk about policy.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll say this, and we'll get off the political talk. My thing is, okay, at the time of this recording, Trump just announced, the tariffs and the reciprocal
You're
tariffs.
freezing.
Oh, I'm freezing. Can you see me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. Trump
I
just,
agree. I
yeah,
mean, I'm just
Trump
careful about
announced,
it
yeah,
because
Trump,
I'm not an offensive person. Like, I don't want to be
yeah,
out here offending. Obviously, I have my beliefs in it, and I just keep it moving.
yeah.
But I
And
will
that's what
say
I try
this:
to do. I never try to get political on the
you have
podcast,
to. I
and we
mean,
won't.
you believe what you do, and I don't let anybody really influence what I believe or what I see or what I understand and trust, because that's another thing. we're so easily influenced. That's why, like, for me, why I don't know why you really started exactly your podcast, but for me, it was always about giving my not only myself a voice, but the people on there a voice, the people that normally wouldn't have the platform, or the people that want to tell their truth. Because a lot of times artists get interviewed, I
Yeah.
mean, celebrities get interviewed, and they're not even asked questions about themselves as a human being,
Yeah.
and to humanize these. I don't idolize anyone. Like, I love people and I love artists and everything like that, but we're not, like, I'm on my show to
Uh,
humanize
right.
anybody,
Right.
because we live in a world where, wow, it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
And oh, you get on IG and, like, wow, this person has it all, and this person is this, and this person's an idol, and this
Hmm.
person is, oh, he blow up, let me follow him, let me. And then it's just like this idea of, like, and this is in politics too, and everything, it's like we idolize someone for not even being who they are, because you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So giving a voice to people, even if they have a voice, but they may not have the correct platform to be genuine, that's what
Right.
I'm about.
No, I love that.
And the genuinity has to come back, because that's what it was. That's what it was back then. Like, you couldn't fake something as much, because we're living in real time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And nowadays, even, I mean, with not only social media but the media, everything is so, well,
Yeah.
it's literally like the game of telephone, where it's like,
Right.
I
And
heard this,
right.
and
And
it really, people really believe it's true.
people
Like, did
believe
you know that
people.
this baby
Pe-
was born with 8 legs? And like,
yeah.
it
People
really,
believe it.
truly,
And I like
yeah,
I love my family, but it's like, yo, like, you know what it is
yeah.
too.
Please don't believe
The
it.
baby boomer generation, that's what they came up with. That's what they came
Mhm.
up in the mainstream media, right? So they're conditioned to believe whatever the news says, right? You believe it. I realizing, no, they're lying to you.
They tell you whatever
They're
they think,
telling you
whatever they
whatever they
want
want to
to tell you.
tell you
Yep.
because they know the average person doesn't know anything about. I wasn't very political prior to the last election. I voted, but
Yeah.
I wasn't as tuned. And now that I've come to the other side, as I like to say, right? Because I
The
can't
dark
see, I
side.
can't, no, I just can't see myself ever voting blue ever again. I just, me personally,
Yeah.
I can't see it because it's just like, it's just really sad because it's like, you know, the people, and I'll say this, we'll get off political talk because I don't want to keep the whole, but most people live their lives very conservatively, Sujay, but they vote the other way.
Hmm.
And it doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah, people who are call themselves Christian, what they call themselves, and naturally, no, I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm not
they
disagreeing. Yeah.
go to church on Sunday. They go to church on Sunday. Every Sunday they're in church. They're in those pews. But
Mm.
when they vote in their politics, they vote against what they say they believe in.
Yeah. I think that's with anything, though. If you really, people are bandwagon people, right?
Right, right.
So, like, who's the next great thing, or who, like, I really feel like people are voting now, just like it's almost like a popularity contest. Like,
Well,
I'm
no,
voting
that's really
now.
no, that's really what it is. And I'm like thinking to myself, and because what happened for me in the last election was like simple, like, okay, Kamala Harris could not answer a single question, like a basic question. Because I mean, like when you're running for the most powerful position in the world, essentially, I want you to be able to answer a question when they ask it to you. I want
You
you
got to be. I'm big on, you have to be able to think quick on your feet. So even if you're
exactly,
not expecting
exactly
a
like that.
tough
This
question come,
job
right?
is for people who are critical thinkers and who can think fast.
Hmm.
Like,
Any, I agree. I
and I mean,
mean, any
and
any
some people, and
powerful
unfortunately,
job.
she
Yeah.
just doesn't. She just does. In my opinion, okay, let me say it. In my opinion, she just doesn't
Better
have
check yourself.
the skills or the what's required to be the president of the United States. I'm sorry, not everybody is equipped for this type of job.
Mhm.
It's just that simple. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? Like she just,
Yeah.
I mean, she just. she just is not. I mean, when you get mollywopped the way she did, TJ, like it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close, right? I mean, they tried to say, "Oh, it'll take days to call the election." The election was over. The close by like 1:30 in the morning. We knew who the winner was. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, so I mean, it just goes to show you. I mean, Trump won the popular vote. The first time a Republican's ever done that in 20 years. First time in 20 years, 20 plus years since Bush did a Republican win the popular vote. And I'll say this, you know, I'll say this: the the Republicans, the Democrats were averaging about between 59 million and 66 million votes in every election except 2020 when they got 80 plus million votes. I could say, okay, so if you
Hmm.
got 66 million, between 60 and 70 million votes, and that's what you've been averaging between 59 and 60, where the hell did the other 20 million people, where were they in 2020? This
Not voting. Not
logic.
voting.
Well, what I'm saying is they were I mean they were just mail-in ballots. 'Cause we're in a pandemic, so they could just bring in mail-in ballots and all kinds of crazy things going on, and nobody was
Mm-hmm.
checking them, and they can do whatever they want. They knew they couldn't do that this time because Laura Trump wasn't having it. She wasn't having it. So anyway,
Yeah.
we'll get off of
Way off
that.
topic. Way off topic.
We'll get off of that because it's just gonna ruffle some feathers, and
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like to ruffle too many feathers on this podcast. uh,
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, speaking your truth, you're what I
yeah,
really truly love about having a platform that is
mhm,
yours and not
mhm,
really having to answer to too many people is
right.
that you can really use it for. I mean, and it's you got to use it with caution because I've actually learned that even
No,
though you
no,
can say what the hell you want,
you do because people,
you do
unfortunately,
have to still be mindful that people are
yes,
watching and
no,
you're
no,
not. And that's
I'm,
another thing. Like I see podcasts and I see shows and not to like think, oh wow. I just truly think like, what are you doing? Because somebody on my show once said that you have a platform, but you got to use it with care in the sense of like people are watching you and people are also taking this as factual statements, right?
yeah,
Even though it's your opinion, even like there's a lot of people that just use this, even podcasting. So I'm going to use my voice for good, but I'm also still going to keep it true to myself
yeah.
because we're not doing that. I can't fake the funk, even if I tried.
No, seriously,
No,
because
like I'm just me, 100%. But not everybody's like that. There's people that use a platform for whatever. I don't want to say like revenge, but for whatever they are trying to accomplish in their own lives,
right.
and sometimes it's just not always for good. And that's another
No,
mindful thing.
no,
You gotta be mindful of what you put out there.
no, that's real talk
Yeah.
because no, that's real talk. That's real talk because you do have to be careful because unfortunately, look, especially when it comes to certain topics, people can't unhear. Like
Correct.
they're like, oh yeah, we'll be cool no matter what. And what's true is they won't. If they disagree with what they can't unhear
And
what you said.
I
So
agree.
this is why like I don't really get involved.
Yeah.
This will probably be the one and only time like I really
Because
get.
you can, it's just a safe space because we're friends and we
Yeah, we're friends, and like
understand.
it's no combat, but you can't sometimes unless your podcast is about politics, right? Because
Exactly. And
then
then
of
people
course,
know what they're tuning into at that point. And it's a choice
exactly.
to turn you on. You know what I
But
mean?
my yeah, but my podcast brand isn't that, so I try not to, because
So
unfortunately, people can't unhear the things you say
it,
because and they'll be, oh yeah, we're cool, but no, in the back of their mind, especially in this election, because it's so divisive and people are so upset either one way or the others on the other side of it. We can't come into a middle ground. People are so upset.
so I
People,
will say this. I'm sorry to interrupt
oh,
again,
go ahead.
interrupting, but I will say this. It's not only that. that people are divided. I think people have to learn, and this is a huge thing that I know I had to learn, is that just because we have a differences of opinion doesn't mean that you're my enemy. Doesn't
Right.
mean that I have
And
to sit
I
at a
had,
whole different
and to
table.
be
Sit at
honest
the
with you,
same table.
and be
Yeah.
honest with you, like I had to experience this with my family recently because I
Mm-hmm.
was the only one in my family that voted for Trump, and I love my sister. I'm not gonna say her name, but
It should kill you.
yeah, no, but I don't. She lives the pocket very much, but
Yeah.
it's like, it's very sad because you know it's my God-given right as an American citizen to vote for whoever I choose to vote for.
Absolutely. You're
And
right.
and to be in my family and to hear them. So I'll tell you what happened, right? I called my sister because she's getting married
Woo-hoo. Congrats.
in a couple of months, right? And we, we don't talk very often, but ever since obviously this election, she said, "Well, I'm never gonna want to talk politics with you,"
Mhm.
right? And so anyway, so I called her to tell her some details about about the wedding, and she says, "Oh, well, just want to put it out there. Don't no political talk at the wedding." I said, "Fine, cool. I wasn't gonna do that anyway. That's
There's
not
a time and a place for that.
exactly."
Mhm.
And then she proceeds to say, anybody that voted for Trump is a racist and a Nazi, and this and this and this and that. And we're going back to 1932's Germany. I said, so you told me you didn't want any political. Then you made the conversation on the phone that should have been friendly and pleasant because then you didn't like what I had to say once I started speaking up for myself. That's not fair.
Mhm.
That is not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't then get upset if you don't like what I have to say when you turn the conversation a particular way. That's
Yeah.
not fair. Because I wasn't gonna talk politics with you
Mhm.
during
I
that particular
refuse to.
conversation.
I refuse to with
And
most of everyone, and
you
I
know what I'm
won't.
saying?
Like I won't
Right,
because it's not. It's just the idea of I can- I'm not going to hate anyone based on
but it's right,
political views, but I
but
am going to not be okay with someone over certain views, right? Certain aspects of those views is not something that I can pay with. But at the end of the day, if you're my brother, if you're my sister, if you're my like family friend, like that shouldn't determine whether we're speaking. Like things like that should.
exactly,
That's what's dividing the world. It's not necessarily,
exactly.
and that's in general. That's what not just in the politics. It's just we can genuinely I can still love you if I don't agree with you, right?
Right.
But it's when people are so cutthroat, I just can't do it.
No,
I refuse to do
no,
it. I
it's really bad. It's really bad when it's like, yo, that's you just because of because we differ politically
mm-hmm,
on our views, how you see me as as well as being brother, it's like that's really bad. That
yeah,
you see me a certain way. Oh, and like that, and it's really bad. I'm like, that's why I can't be around my family very much because we
yeah.
can't have those kind. And then it's like I call my mother. And
Mm-hmm,
she defends my sister's actions. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what are you doing? I said, I'm 39 and I have every right to
mm-hmm,
vote for who I want to vote for. That's my right.
yeah.
That is my
And I think at the end of the day, it's just something that we can agree to disagree, right?
right. And it's just like, and the
We're
only thing,
mature enough to agree to disagree. That's what it
and
should
the
be.
only
Yeah.
thing that got me upset
Yeah.
about that conversation was my sister was playing below the belt, and that wasn't fair. You
Yeah.
can't like if when I didn't turn the conversation political and you did, and then get upset when you didn't like what I had to say, then but that's on you. You did that. I wasn't planning on doing any of that. I was going to keep the conversation very friendly
Mm-hmm.
because I understand who I'm dealing with.
Yeah, you got to
You
know your
know, so
surroundings. And
yeah,
in general, like you interview people, there's certain things that you can ask certain people and be like sometimes I'll ask, is there anything off limits?
hmm
Because I'm going to be respectful and not talk about them,
hmm
obviously. But I
yeah,
also speak to people and like, this is my goal for this. This is what I want to talk about and want to accomplish.
Hmm.
And I want to tell your story while we're doing it. Because at the end of the day, you have a story to tell. I just don't understand when people act like, your sister and just like, okay, so
It's very
you
sad.
can't do it, but I'm going to do it. And then I'm
Yeah,
going to hate you for doing
like
or having a different opinion.
it's very sad because it's like, man, I'm like, yo, this is my family, right? And this is
Mm-hmm.
people that I care about, but I also know I can't be around them very often because you
Mm-hmm.
then can't really be yourself. And so when
Yeah,
I can't be
unfortunately.
myself, like it's just hard because it's like unfortunately, like it
It's
just
more than that.
yeah,
More than that.
I can't when I can't be my authentic. Look, there are people that you can have brutally honest conversation with, and they're gonna they might like I said they might disagree, but you
Mhm.
know that it's gonna be all love regardless. Like LaShawn, the one that owns this podcast network. We him and I probably disagree politically, but that's my brother. Like I know,
Yeah.
like when he hears his podcast, there's probably
You
things
probably won't be like,
they go
really?
and disagree with,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. I get
at
it.
the end of the day, we brothers. Like that's not gonna change. Like again,
And
I don't talk about
that's
politics
just a
off.
sense of
Yeah,
maturity
I don't talk
and
about politics
adulthood
often on this
that a lot
podcast
of people don't
anyway.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't talk about politics often on this podcast anyway because one, it's not what this podcast is about. You know what I'm saying? So
Your podcast is to tell your real truth and
yeah,
to encourage people while
yeah,
doing that,
exactly.
give a sense of inspiration, to give hope. Like I know what your podcast is
Yeah,
about.
and
So,
so yeah, and so
um,
but like I'm glad we can because we're friends in real life. Like you're not somebody that we know each other so long. You're not somebody who I found on the internet or
yeah,
who we connected. We've been around each other. We've known each other for a long time. Obviously, we all have our own lives, but we go back a long time, and we go and so it's a safe space to have these conversations and me and you may not agree on certain things
of
when
course.
it comes.
I'm gonna switch it up because I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
What is it like? Because I do this independently, right? I don't
Yeah.
have like a podcasting network, and I know other people that do. Most of the people I know are on networks. What's the difference? Because I truly don't know.
Well, for I think it's cool. It's just that having a home, you know what I'm saying, where you know, on the podcast network where they just give a platform, you know what I'm saying, like they make sure my podcast gets housed on all the different podcast networks, things like that.
Okay,
And just
okay,
have yeah, like
that's
yeah,
fair.
and so
Okay,
and I
no,
know
because I'm just wondering.
and I
There's
know
like
very
there's so many
soon,
people.
like I think we're gonna be bringing some sponsors in, so we'll probably have some other things that will be happening soon, where like we'll have to read ads and things like that
That's what I'm looking into and
at some
working.
point, right? So that's what we'll be doing soon. But I'm just glad to have a space where like I was asked to, because I wasn't originally going to do a podcast, and when LaShawn asked me when TS we call him Talk when he asked me, do a podcast, I said, heck yeah, man! Like I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else other than him because he's the one that even got me started in the music business just in general. Like it was because of him I'm even in the industry. So like
Yeah,
when he asked me to do a podcast, I'm like, I would only want to do it with you. You're the only one I would want to do it with anyway.
yeah,
So
that's
you
amazing.
know, and
That's
I and
great.
I like it because you get a chance one to build new relationships with people. With
Mhm.
podcasts is like who doesn't want to come on a podcast to talk about themselves?
Listen, I love it. I love
And what they love to do, right? So it's a way to establish a relationship with somebody who you may not know very well, but you get to bring them on your platform, and at least that can be the start of building a foundation that you don't know where it could lead to. You know what I'm saying? So
I
that's
mean,
why
I definitely have had the time of my life meeting all different types of people. Not everybody becomes more, right? There's some people you meet, you get the lesson that they're on your show to teach,
yeah,
and then okay, like you support, and I'm very supportive, so I'm gonna share your things. I'm gonna, me, like,
right,
um, but then you have these relationships that change your entire damn life, like,
yeah, yeah,
and I mean, I've had people on here that because of the show, like they are my people, their
Yeah.
family at this point. I love doing that. I mean, it's about in 3 weeks, it'll be our, my second year anniversary, but in the first year I was doing this with someone else, and she was
Yeah.
co-hosting and things like that with me. But once I this year feels different because I
You had look,
survived the
and I
changes
remember,
and
and you
I
told me a little
came out
bit,
swinging,
and you told
really.
me a little bit about this situation. I said, look,
Yeah,
you had to do what's best for you. Could you take this
yeah,
seriously?
absolutely.
And like you
I
said,
take it with
and,
my whole heart. Like
and
I
like you
take it.
said, nobody, so, like, there's no, if you're gonna be partners with somebody, then they need to do the same amount of work if they want to be able to reap in the benefit.
Yeah,
You don't get
yeah.
to,
And
you
I think
know.
it's just some people take podcasting as like a hobby, or like this is fun and it's a fun thing. And if you want to treat it as a hobby, fine. I think with me, because I came in it when it was kind of like a low point in my life,
Right.
it has given me my own voice. It has brought me back to a time where I didn't feel inferior to things. I didn't have, it has brought me back to life almost in a way. And yeah, not everybody may agree with that, but I do. I did this with purpose and not
Right.
just for a little bit of time. That's why you build slowly when you're going to build something that's going to last, right?
Oh no,
I'm
for
going to
sure.
do it right.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I'm not doing this haphazardly. I'm not out here, you know what I mean? Plus, since I was a little kid, I've always thought I would be interviewing people. I thought I would be a journalist. I thought, and who's to say I won't? I have
Yeah.
a journalism degree. I don't
Well,
even
but you
touch.
know what's
I
interesting?
don't even
But
use it.
but you know what's interesting though?
But
Nowadays, and see that's what I guess
I need it.
the purists who people who who majored in journalism, they're upset because they had to go through a different space
Yeah,
before the internet,
true.
right? So they're
Yeah.
upset that the fact that you can have, like we were saying before, mainstream media, going back to the mainstream media, right? Like those people in mainstream media, they went to journalism school. They majored in communications, right? Now you have YouTubers and podcasters. And I think they like to separate them because it's like, you're not a journalist. You are a YouTuber or you are a podcaster. So they don't
Yeah, but we're speaking truth, sometimes more truth than
they look at
others.
you differently. But what's interesting is like you said, the independent YouTubers now are the ones who are keeping it 1,000 because they don't have anybody to answer to. Like,
Correct. Correct.
If you take ESPN, they work they're owned by Disney. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to act a certain way. You can't say
Yeah.
certain things when you're in corporate media like that.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, but when
Even if
you're
you wanted to, even if you
yeah,
wanted to, you're
yeah,
just not going to be given the opportunity. It may cost you
absolutely.
your job at the end of the
No,
day.
seriously. I mean, you look at Sage Steele from ESPN and what she had to go through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a lot of people have, you just understand when you work for ESPN, there's certain things you just can't do. You
You
know?
can't say, but girl, go get you a YouTube channel, or like just listen. I feel like what I'm most mad about when it comes to like social media
Hmm.
and media in general is
Hmm.
that we have a choice, especially in social media. You have a
Hmm.
choice on what you put out there and what you say and how you affect people. Why is it that nobody is lighting a freaking fire under people and changing the way that people think? I may not be everyone's cup of tea. People may scroll past my crap. I don't care. I'm still keeping it real. I'm still doing what I love,
Right.
and I'm saying my truth. It's not your truth. It's not your truth. It's my truth.
Right.
So I feel like I've never had more fun being so honest. You know what I mean? Like I've
Right.
never had more fun being so honest. And it's a great thing. I also just think that I wish more people were okay with doing these type of interviews and speaking these type of conversations, because not everybody's willing to have the hard conversations.
For
And life
sure.
is hard. I get you want to keep it light and fun. I'm freaking light and fun, but I'm also going to speak the truth. I'm also going to have those tough conversations, because those are what changes the world, right? You don't change the world by just like, hey, girl, you want a lollipop? You want to have fun?
No,
No, you change the world by like affecting people through conversation.
for
That's what you
sure,
do.
for sure. Cool, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I want to talk So about a few things. So, you've been through a lot with, a lot of childhood experiences and physical and sexual abuse. How you feel like that shaped your perspective, even on even on podcasting, and did that kind of play a role in why you kind of wanted to start to share your truth?
So it is the whole reason why I
Right,
created the podcast, and not only to share my truth but others. I thought growing up, and you could correct me if I'm wrong because I don't think you knew this, but when I sent you my bio, I'm pretty sure you didn't know of half the things that were on there. Like I come from a very abusive home. Like it was not cookies. It wasn't, it was, I mean, terrible, really. But at the end of the day, what I really thought about when I becoming a podcaster or telling my story in general was just that it's so rare to really understand the inside of someone's life, right? Outside, I mean, most people, I am a happy go lucky person despite my problems,
right,
but you would have thought, I remember one of my good friends, and she's like my sister now, but when we first hung out, she didn't really want to hang out at my house. She felt like I was going to have, like, the rich lifestyle. I was dirt poor, especially younger years
yeah,
me.
yeah,
But we didn't, she assumed that I just lived this extravagant life. I had a happy home, two-parent household. Like she just assumed this because of how I behaved, right? How fun and happy I was always going to school. And that wasn't fake. I really was so excited to be at school and I loved people, but I really didn't show that I was going through the worst times of my life.
okay.
Even senior year, I had a minor heart attack. Senior year, nobody knew. I missed
I
school and then
I mean
came back. It was just like
I had no idea, but I think
nobody knew.
I
And
had
these are the things. Yes,
yeah,
I literally had heart surgery right after high school. I had to wait to go to college until the next semester just because I wasn't healthy enough. But nobody knew this. So I went through a health scare in 2022, and after that, I said, yo, like, it's my time to really like tell people stories. I've always thought I'd be doing something like this. Back then, it wasn't called podcasting. I really thought I was just gonna like interview people. I was gonna be, a talk show host. Who knows? But
right.
um, and then I went through that and I said, if I'm going through this and nobody knows, imagine what everybody else is going through in their life. Imagine the stories that we could tell if we just listened. And I
Right.
also feel like I'm so empathetic because I wish I had empathy back then. And so empathy and really wanting to learn and listen to people's stories will get you a podcast. Truly, like
Hmm.
that's how I figured. You know what? If nobody knew, and I'm nobody, I'm really nobody, right? But imagine these artists and these
Yeah.
creatives and these
Yeah.
amazing people doing amazing things now.
Right.
Imagine what they endured, and that
Yeah.
really was the premise for my show. It's aspired because we always are aspiring to be something better, right?
Right.
And you can come from what I came from and still be okay at the end of the day. And that's the premise. That's really what came. I mean, aspired was aspired before I even knew it.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
was
Right.
aspired day on IG, right? And then I just said, well, listen, I'm that because that's what I'm aiming to be. And I think we all are in our own way. So
Right.
let's just go with it.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Um, yeah, and you talked about your cancer, like what, like when you found out you had cancer, because everybody, when you cancer is a scary word, right? When we think about, man, cancer, like what was your initial internal reaction when you found out you had it?
Woo! You
I
don't, no
always
one's ever asked me
I
that.
always
If
assume
I'm
it's gonna
being
be like,
honest,
you're like, oh, am I gonna die? Like this is what you think about, like you know,
so it wasn't, it was, I never, and thankfully, like, I was really, I was sick, but I got lucky too. And I just needed a surge. I was a surgery away from really, um, probably getting rid of it. Right. But
Mhm.
everything's a process medically, costs, all of that. I think what my initial reaction was about my family and not
Yeah.
even me, because I am almost now, not just my immediate family, but like the go-to, the glue. You know, we lost my grandmother who was pretty much that. And then I feel like I've kind of taken on that role. Like I want to spend time with all my family. So I thought, who's going to take care of everybody?
Right.
That's really my initial reaction. Wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to die, because I didn't. I, if I'm being honest, I had moments where I was like, holy shit, like if
Right.
I don't take care of myself, this could be it.
Right.
But I just sit there. I didn't think, I couldn't think. Like I couldn't think like that because I had people relying on me. I had to get better. I have the two
Right.
boys, and at that time, my oldest was like just starting off in high school. It was his
Yeah.
first year, and my youngest was still in elementary school. So it was just like, okay, get your ass up and let's
Wow. So
go.
you
What
so
do
you,
we
so
gotta
you
do?
so you
Yeah.
had so you had um some year gap between you having kids, huh?
Oh yeah. My kids are, yeah, so my son is 18 and he's about to join the military, and I have a middle schooler. So yeah, they're
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
little over 6 years apart.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
know. I really, if I don't tell this to many people, I don't talk about it, but I had a lot of reproductive issues, and so it's
Okay.
a miracle that I even have them, to be
Wow.
honest. So
Well, I'm
I
so
couldn't
glad.
have back-to-back kids. It wouldn't
Right.
be a thing for me. It was a lot of work to have them, but I got them, right? So blessed for
No, that
that.
no, that's awesome. I'm so glad
Yeah,
that you were able to do that and experience being a
yeah,
mom and
yeah. I was meant to be a mom. I
no,
was.
cause you
I
look,
was a
'cause
mom to all of y'all kids growing up. What do you mean?
well,
I
I
feel
mean,
like I
look,
was born for this.
we had some fun times in
I
TNT,
know.
and
I
traveling toward him.
know.
Shout out to Mr. Edinger, man. I don't know where, I don't
Listen,
know
listen.
if he's still living, but uh,
Same. But you
but
know who I see often, because we oddly enough have mutual friends, is Cat Grace. I'm naming
oh
names.
oh yeah,
Yes, yes. I saw him like a month ago. It's so funny. But you know
oh yeah,
what's
yeah.
really
Yeah,
nuts to me?
coach is awesome,
It,
man. I mean, yeah.
yeah, Coach Grace is crazy good. But like seeing him as an adult and then having adult conversations with someone you grew up with. I actually looked up to him a lot growing up. And it's so
Oh,
funny, like
look,
seeing him and hanging out
no,
with him,
kid, I
you know?
remember him coaching the freshman girls basketball team and how much
Yeah.
patience he had to have because
You
you
need
know
patience for a bunch of girls
most of
playing
those
sports.
girls have probably never played sports ever, or never played basketball,
Yeah.
and he had to have so much patience to do that, and
You have to have
I always
patience to be a teacher in
teacher, yeah,
general. It's
exactly,
crazy.
exactly. No,
Yeah. Shout out to
seriously,
all the teachers,
no, and
coaches, all of them.
he was a teacher for what? I don't think he's teaching anymore, right? He's not teaching anymore, is he?
No, no, he's not doing that. No,
Yeah,
no, yeah. But he's
but
still involved in sports and stuff.
yeah,
What I loved about our group is that we were so eclectic, and a lot of us were very creative. A
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
us, I mean, you had Alfredo
I think the most creative
rapping.
Was Alfredo was probably the most.
You had,
Well,
I mean, Melissa now is doing all kinds of stuff. It's just like
yeah,
the
and you
eclecticness
know what's
of our
interesting about
group is
Melissa? She
beautiful.
was very quiet in high school. She didn't talk.
Nah, she talked. You just had to listen.
I just don't remember her being as like. I just remember her.
I mean, I always thought she was going to do something like this.
Okay, cause I
A
just
lot of the people don't surprise me, and it's a beautiful thing though, because we had a
and
very
I'm trying to get her to
artistic
do
group.
my podcast. And I'm like, I don't. She's just very. She's not very like. She's not very.
Spend
Yeah, no, like she doesn't like. I said, look, I want you to come on, and they're like, and I'm like, she won't respond, and it's great, it's weird, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I want her to come on because I'm like, yo, I want to
I
talk
think at
about
the
like,
end of the day, like what's meant to happen and what's meant to be
no, for
will
sure,
be in terms of whoever comes on and stuff
because
like
she's
that.
active on Facebook, but like she's not like unless you're like her and Yachty was like obviously they like sisters,
Yeah,
right? So it's
yeah.
like,
That's Yadi's my sister too.
yeah,
I
yo,
grew
you
up with
guys
her.
are
I've
like
known
sisters,
her since
yeah.
I was like 10 years old,
So
11
it's,
years old. So yeah, like
so it's like
forever family
but
is
this,
what like I like to call them. So
yeah,
for
like
sure,
to see Melissa
really
doing
proud of
what
all of
she's
them.
doing, like on that type of level, it's just really cool. It's really cool though. Like man, like and even with Carmen Morales, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? She obviously
I love
her
us.
when
I
she
love
became a
us
professional
too.
comic and like doing the things she's like it's interesting.
You
Adam Lowe.
know, Carmen did it. Carmen's another one I've known since I was about the same age, like 11. Um,
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me. She was funny in a way where not many kids were funny. You know, like
Right.
it was like outside the box, and
And
having
again,
conversations with her growing
that's
up was so
that's
fun.
a tough space, man,
You have to
to
be
be
brilliant to
to
be
be a,
funny, and I'm
yeah,
sorry, you just do. You do. You have to
yeah,
think differently. You have to know. You have to be quick. She's always been that, and I just
yeah.
love. When I see my feed and all these
Yeah,
talented, amazing
yeah,
people, like it's literally a smile on my
yeah,
face because I'm like, yes,
we had
go
a
get it.
great we had a great group. We had a great group, man. Just
Great group. Yeah,
great
we
group of
were
people.
solid, and we had some losses, and
Yeah, man. Yeah,
still
Viviana,
we still remain solid.
and
And at the end of the day, we won't see each other all the time. We won't talk. We may not even respond all the time, but there's always been love in that group, and I love it. So
no,
I
for
love
sure,
it.
man,
I
for
really love
sure.
that. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, and what's crazy is dang, we're gonna be almost on 10. We have to do something in 2027 for 10
Yeah.
years since when Viviana passed. Because because
What
can you believe
when's our 25 year? When is our
we're
25?
20 yeah, we're towards 25 is 2028, right? Which I think we should do something because we never really did
I
anything for
agree. 20
so
I
I
didn't we didn't
so
have a 20 year.
so we definitely need to
Um
and I get it because like we were talking
Definitely.
about this, like, I think Erica, who was our class president, she just probably doesn't want. So somebody's gonna have to take that over and figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure it
We
out.
got to figure
We
it
can get
out,
maybe a teacher involved. You know what I mean?
but then we definitely have to do something for
My
in
son
20
is graduating from Colonial this year, actually.
for
It's crazy.
really. Oh
Yeah.
wow, isn't that cool
Yeah,
though to know that he went?
yes. Yes. I'm so. It's
Did
funny
you guys have
because
some of the same teachers?
yes, like her name is Whitman now, but what was her name? She was in travel and tourism. Um, why is her name?
Miss, oh yeah, well, oh,
Yes, yes, yes. So he deals with her and her husband, and so funny. I get a note
who
like
Melissa? You talk about Melissa? You talking?
Melissa Whitman. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but that's her married name.
Yeah, can you believe it? Like, cause she's the one that recruited me to TNT. She recruited me. Cause
Same,
remember,
same,
I was
same.
not in travel and tourism when I started Colonial, and she recruited me in.
No,
You know,
I mean, when it started, I think we were the first class.
no,
So I mean, I
I
was
don't
in
think
travel
I
and
don't think we were
tourism
the
from tenth grade on.
yeah I don't
It
think
was a blast. I
yeah.
had so
So
much fun.
she but to know that she's still there, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You know,
she looks
because
amazing
you talk
too.
about
It's crazy.
that's 20. I think she started. I think she started. I think we might have been her first class.
She was like, I think we were her first class
That was in
for
2001,
teaching high
right?
school. Like,
2001.
yeah,
So you talk about
yeah.
so she's been at Colonial
And she has
almost.
4 kids now. It's just like
She's been
wild
at Colonial
how
20
life
something
works.
years. Yeah, 20 something years she's been there
Yeah,
because wow.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, at least since 10th grade for me,
That was
for both
2001.
of us.
That was
So
2001.
that's
Yeah.
2001. Yeah, that's
Yeah, so
wild.
that's wow. Wow.
Well,
Wow.
I love that we did this. We have to
Yeah,
do more.
this
We
is
have to get
fun.
together soon.
This is fun, and we didn't. I had a lot other questions I want to get to, but I know, and because we're friends and we have a history, like we just kind of just having a fun conversation
I'll be back. You
and
want me to come
recording.
back? I'll
Well,
come back.
we definitely have to do this again.
Yeah,
Um,
I really
I didn't even
appreciate
really
you,
have
Durell.
I didn't even have a structure for this episode because it was like we know each other, so it's like we're just kind of chopping it up, you know.
We just listen. I blindly was like, okay, I'm going on his show. What you talking about? I don't know. It don't matter. We'll talk about everything because
And
that's what we do. Yeah,
exactly. So, man, this
I
has been
appreciate
so much
it.
fun, guys. This is Suejey. I mean, like I said,
Jay.
she's a podcaster, and she's doing so many cool things with her brand. And guys, this is
Yeah,
what they
so much more is coming. My nonprofit is getting through off the ground. I've been doing charitable work, but I really want to like that's another thing that's a passion of mine. Like you can't change the world if you're not doing anything to change it.
absolutely.
And that's all I want to do is I mean, I want to be the change. So
Uh,
that's going to be coming and I'm probably going to have an event shortly, maybe in the next 2 months stay tuned so that way you can come on through. But yeah, I'm Aspired Podcast, and we're
Wonderful.
on YouTube, Spotify, but I'm looking to be on other platforms. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Definitely, definitely, guys. It's been another episode of the Encourage and Inspire podcast. And this has been your host, Durell Peart. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.